Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We saw Harold Fannin's rookie season with the Cleveland Browns. Tremendous. I don't know who had the better year amongst rookies. I think Bryce Schlesinger had the better year overall of the two, but both had terrific rookie seasons. Long term, as you try to project out what this player will be, those are impressive numbers for his first year at tight end. What can he be, Zach? Can he be Ozzie Newsome?
He can be a top-tier tight end. He's so unique. I keep saying he's not a true tight end, and I mean that in a complimentary way.
Right.
Like he's new to the position. I think the Browns trusted that he would be a big target. They trusted that he would be able to catch on real quickly. I don't think anybody knew how naturally good he was after the catch, just throwing people off of him. How many times does the first guy get him down?
Yeah.
So this is a guy that 5 years ago was playing high school safety, right? And he was being recruited to play all sorts of different positions, and not a lot of them were tight end. He goes to Bowling Green. It works out. He clearly takes off. His coach makes a pitch like, "Stay here. Don't go take the money. We will develop you. We will feed you the football. We will get you ready." It worked out.
It did.
And I think he was like the fifth tight end taken. Like teams went for bigger guys. Teams went for more proven guys. The Browns went for upside, and I think he's just scratching the surface again. He was 21 years old. From the MAC to this. And I remember early in training camp last year, Jay, I would see him out there doing different things with like the first team on like the fourth day of camp. And I was like, man, is he a schedule or they just need him? And I thought, well, they just needed him. Well, it turns out it was both.
Yeah,
but
right,
they needed him because he was really good. He was so right away where rookies are just trying to figure things out, like where are they supposed to be on a certain play. He was so obviously and naturally better. And now you get him hopefully in a better situation all the way around. Everybody's learning the new offense. He's comfortable with his surroundings. I think he can really take off. I don't know if he's going to have 115 receptions, but he might have to when you look at who else is out there.
Yeah.
You mentioned his size. You think he stays at tight end long term?
I think he stays in the same role, and I think he eventually becomes wide receiver, slot back, or whatever. But I think he's a tight end by position.
Because they could take another tight end, I would think.
Sure, and I think they will. I think they're going to. I feel very confident saying they're going to take a fullback or a tight end.
Yeah.
In letting him develop. But
And
I
maybe
think
a slash. Maybe
over
a guy
the
that
course
can
of
do
the
both.
season, as this offense evolves, right, you're going to see Harold Fannin in a lot of different places, and it's not always going to be a primary tight end lined up next to the left tackle.
And that's where I would go with just how good can he be. Well, I think he's just a mismatch wherever you put him. He's one of those guys that you can line him up in different spots, and he can create mismatches all across defenses. So, yeah, I think he's got the potential. I mean, I don't know. I want to see another year out of him before we start calling him Ozzie Newsome and All-Pro and all that. Yeah. But certainly he's got the upside to being a 1,000-yard receiver coming out of that spot. I don't think that's outrageous to say. This is a team that has struggled developing receivers for 30 years, 50 years. Their all-time leading receiver is still the tight end that we keep talking about. So he's got the potential to really sort of be a game changer for this offense. Now they just need more talent around him. They need to help him out.
Jay, one more thought on him. I know we've never picked apart Shador on this show or gone down that road.
No.
But the way he latched onto him,
yeah,
I think is a positive. It showed growth. Like he looked around and said, "This is the guy I can trust."
That's the guy.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody in the stadium knew the ball was coming to Harold Fannin in December, and it still was working.
Yeah,
out.
still productive.
Yeah.
The thing that was when he led all of college football in receiving yards and receptions. That was why I kept telling people he can do this. He can do it at this level. And he is a bit of a tweener. I mean, he's not a huge tight end. I think he's too big to be wide receiver. I could be wrong, but I think he's perfect at tight end. And I think what you do is you find mismatches, you put him against people that are uncomfortable covering him. I thought Cleveland did a really good job of doing that last year. I'm interested to see how the league evolves to Harold Fannin. Mm-hmm. I think he figured out the league in relative short order. And you're right, early in camp it was obvious, like this guy not only belongs, this guy's going to stand out. A friend of mine who is not a Browns fan, he doesn't cover them exclusively, but he pays close attention to them, said, in trying to temper my enthusiasm, because I told him before the season, I said, I know this is nuts, but his comparison to me is Ozzie Newsome. I watched Ozzie in his career. I think that there are a lot of similarities, and I think this guy can have a similar type career here that Ozzie Newsome did. And what he said, this was again before the season, he goes, look, in that offense, someone has to eat.
Yep.
Someone has to be the producer, and I don't know who else it is. So he may well end up having a big year there. But he told me, and he did, and he said, but what's I want to see is when they get legitimate wide receiver ones, which I don't think we have, but when they get a legitimate depth at wide receiver, what is he then? Is he still the quarterback's safety blanket? Probably not.
Well, he's still a guy that catches 80 balls at 8 yards and
yes,
destroys that matchup.
And to your point, too, what I love about him is the yards after the catch. Like, he's a load to bring down.
Yeah.
So it makes him a really, really difficult matchup. I hope that when they do get better at wide receiver, that they still throw the ball to him a lot, because I think he gets open, and after he catches the football, he's a threat to move it down the field.
So when he was coming out, I was like, this is Isaiah Likely, right? The Ravens found Isaiah Likely in the mid-rounds. He was from Coastal Carolina. He wasn't a finished product, but they fed him the ball.
Yeah, they did.
He just was good, right? So here comes Todd Monken after years of having Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews in the same offense, where they utilize those guys. So we're at the owners' meetings, and I say to Todd, who in your past does Harold remind you of? And I'm expecting to get Isaiah Likely. Like, I'm already patting myself on the back.
Right, I nailed that one.
And he says Brock Bowers.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to note that one. That's pretty strong.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. I can't wait to see, too, how he's going to use him. I think he's going to use him. He used his tight ends in Baltimore.
Yeah. No, and you have to use
And he had weapons at wide receiver in Baltimore.
Like, I'm anxious to see Judkins in a real offense.
Yeah.
I'm anxious to see Harold Fannin now that he's comfortable and they look, because it's not just about exploiting those mismatches. It's realizing, hey, the ball has to go here.
Yeah.
So we're going to line him up in some places, and the defense is going to shift to him. Then we're going to line him up in other places and just force feed him. We're going to see, like, that versatility is nothing but a plus. Some guys, in some teams, line up guys in different places because they're searching for answers.
Yeah.
Harold Fannin is the guy you line up and you draw that mismatch there, and you know that certain things are going to open up both for him and for other guys based on where you use him, and it's nothing but a plus. He's not going to be, again, you don't want him blocking 60 times a game.
No.
Right? He needs to play there to make them respect some of the traditional plays.
Sure.
But, like, this is a guy that you can utilize all over the place.
I know there is a real thing as a sophomore slump. We see it. We see it at every position. Whether or not he'll have that, I don't know. I think it would be a big ask for him to improve on those numbers. I really do. I mean, but I'm going to say that he does. Do you guys believe that he'll improve on his rookie season numbers in year 2? Or do you think he goes down in production?
Who's his quarterback?
Well, that's part of this problem. We don't know.
Yeah, I think I know I said a few minutes ago 1,000-yard receiver. I still think he can get there. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but I think something in the ballpark of what he did last year is I think it's very realistic. And I actually think adding a receiver helps him, because right now, who's the focal point of this offense?
Right.
It's probably him over Jerry Jeudy. That's when defensive teams are having their meetings on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They're talking about 44.
And he was still eating.
Yeah.
I mean, even though he was, I'm sure there were a lot of game plans where he was the focal point of the passing game, and he was still going out there getting his number of catches.
The NFL game is so fast that both offenses and defenses shrink their playbooks in the red zone, because it's happening right now, right?
Yeah.
So when you've got a second guy that you can count on, and they showed that they can count on him last year, and like that Tennessee game, what did Shedeur do every red zone play? Again, he threw it to Fannin. It worked.
Yeah, it did. It worked.
So I think the numbers are going to be just the same. Now, if the Browns are a bad offense again, I think the numbers can be better. But I think I don't think there was anything fluky about him. It wasn't just the volume. I mean, how many times did he catch a 6-yard pass and throw the first guy trying to tackle him on the ground?
Yeah.
That is stuff you can't teach. That is stuff that guys make millions and millions of dollars, and you build offenses around guys with those skill sets.
I think the coolest part for him too is he's a guy he's from the area.
Yeah.
You know, he's from Canton. He probably knows the legend of Ozzie Newsome, and now he kind of gets to, we talk about this on the show all the time. I don't know that we've had this conversation with you, but I don't know that there is maybe the Jets in terms of NFL teams that have had the minimal amount of production at wide receiver. Like, it's stunning when you look at the record books how few good wide receivers this team has had. It's crazy.
When you look at this depth chart now, right? Like, that screen Carnell Tate is arriving here next Thursday night.
That's why. I mean, that's my hope. You know, they need a guy, and I know that maybe they don't think he's elite, but I think he's going to be a top tier wide receiver.
They've made one addition, Tylan Wallace, right? The Eagles are still trading for receivers. Like, maybe they'll get Keon Coleman after the draft. Maybe they'll wait and draft Concepcion and one other. But this team has Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman and Isaiah Bond.
Oh my God.
And Tylan Wallace, who has 22 receptions in 5 years, and Jamar Thresh, who's not an NFL player.
Mike, we've talked about this. How many times have the Browns taken a wide receiver in the first round?
It's Corey Coleman,
Braylon Edwards,
That's
Paul
it.
Warfield.
I mean, in the new era, that's it.
That far back, yeah.
So in the new era, and so it kind of speaks to, they've had terrible wide receivers because they don't prioritize them in the draft.
Right. You had Josh Gordon, who got in the second round supplemental, and the 4 games he played a year were phenomenal.
If we only could have kept him on the field.
Who is this team? What has this team been doing in the first round? Because we talk about they don't take they need a quarterback for
They don't
3
take
years.
quarterbacks and wide
They
receivers.
don't take quarterbacks at the top
Other
of the
than
first
that,
round. They
Traded
don't
3
take
for
receivers.
Deshaun Watson. That's going well.
Yeah, that thinned out the 1 picks right there. They took Trey Junkin 1 year, I think, in the first round.
That's going back to the old.
I mean, you go back 21 years. That's when they drafted Braylon, and 2 years later they drafted Kellen Winslow. Or the year before they drafted Kellen Winslow.
Yeah.
So they were building an offensive there, and then the 1 year it worked, they had brought in Juravicious, and all of a sudden they were spreading the field and had all sorts of matchups. So Harold Fannin is that. He's a little bit Kellen, he's a little bit Juravicious. So where are these other 2 guys, right? If Carnell's 1, now you're onto something.